If there's one city that truly feels like it belongs in a fairy tale, it's Venice. With its winding canals, centuries-old palaces, gondolas gliding through narrow waterways, and the echo of footsteps over stone bridges, Venice is a place that captures your imagination from the very first moment. But beyond the postcard images, Venice is also a city full of history, quirky details, and experiences that you'll remember for a lifetime, if you know where to look and how to make the most of your time there. Whether you're planning a day trip or staying a few nights, this guide will walk you through Venice's highlights, hidden gems, and practical tips. From iconic landmarks to local food, transportation costs, and helpful recommendations to make your trip smooth, meaningful, and unforgettable. Piazza San Marco, Venice's historic heartbeat. Almost everyone starts their Venice adventure in Piazza San Marco, St. Mark's Square, and for good reason. It's the largest open space in the city and a hub of Venetian culture, architecture, and energy. Lined with elegant cafes and centuries-old buildings, this square has been the social and political heart of Venice since the 12th century. The star of the show is St. Mark's Basilica, an ornate golden-domed cathedral that blends Italo-Byzantine, Gothic, and Romanesque styles into a breathtaking display. Inside, you'll find stunning mosaics made of gold and glass, depicting biblical scenes and Venetian history. Entry to the basilica is free, but access to the museum, the Pala d'Oro, a jeweled altarpiece, and the rooftop terrace requires tickets, around 5 to 10 euros, depending on what you want to see. Book online in advance, especially during high season, June to August, when the lines can get very long. To avoid crowds and capture beautiful photos, visit early in the morning or later in the evening. Most group tours arrive mid-morning, so early birds will have a more peaceful experience and better lighting for photos. Next to the basilica stands St. Mark's Campanile, a 98-meter-tall bell tower offering panoramic views over Venice and the lagoon. Tickets cost 10 euros per person. An elevator takes you straight to the top. No stairs required. It's especially beautiful at sunset when the city glows in golden light. Just across the square is the Doge Palace, a Gothic masterpiece that once housed the ruler of the Venetian Republic. The palace is rich in artwork, historic chambers, and political intrigue. Entry costs around 25 euros per person, which also includes access to the Bridge of Sighs, named for the prisoners who crossed it on their way to the cells below. If you're into history, this stop is absolutely worth the time and ticket price. Gondolas and the Grand Canal, more than just a ride. You can't visit Venice without at least considering a gondola ride. Yes, they're touristy, but they're also iconic and surprisingly peaceful, especially if you drift into the smaller side canals. A standard private gondola ride during the day costs about 80 euros for 30 minutes. At night, prices go up to 120 euros. If that's a bit steep, shared rides are available near major gondola stations for around 30 to 40 euros per person. Alternatively, hop on a traghetto, a stripped-down gondola that locals use to cross the Grand Canal. It only costs 2 euros and gives you a tiny taste of the gondola experience. The Grand Canal itself is Venice's main highway, curving through the city in an S shape. The best way to experience it without blowing your budget is by taking a vaporetto or water bus. Line 1 cruises slowly along the canal and stops at most of the major landmarks. A single ticket costs around 10 euros and is valid for 75 minutes, but a 24-hour pass for 25 euros is more economical if you plan on moving around a lot. The Rialto Bridge, history and local life. As you glide down the Grand Canal, you'll eventually reach the Rialto Bridge, the oldest of the canal's 4 crossings. Built from stone in the late 1500s, this elegant arch replaced earlier versions made from wood and even floating pontoons. According to local legend, the bridge's architect, Antonio da Ponte, struck a deal with the devil to complete construction on time, a fun bit of folklore to share while crossing it. The Rialto area is also home to one of Venice's best local markets, open most mornings. If you're looking to escape touristy cafes and try something more authentic, this is a great place to grab fruit, seafood, or picnic ingredients. It's also lined with small baccari, wine bars, serving ticchetti, Venice's version of tapas. Expect to pay around 2 to 3 euros per bite. And don't miss the spritz, a local cocktail made with Aperol or Select, Prosecco, and soda water. A city shaped by water and resilience. To fully appreciate Venice, it helps to understand its unusual origin. The city began in the 5th and 6th centuries when refugees from mainland Italy fled barbarian invasions and settled on the marshy islands of the Venetian lagoon. They drove wooden piles into the muddy seabed to support their buildings, a technique still holding Venice above water today. Over time, the city grew into one of the most powerful maritime empires in the Mediterranean. It became a center of trade, diplomacy, and art, influencing much of Europe for over 1,000 years. For a deeper dive into this history, visit the Museo Storico Navale, Naval History Museum, or the Museo di Storia Naturale, Natural History Museum, both offering insight into Venice's engineering, trade routes, and naval dominance. Murano and Burano, colorful escapes beyond the main island. If you have more than a day in Venice, set aside time for Murano and Burano, two nearby islands that offer a quieter, more colorful vibe. Murano is best known for its centuries-old glass-making tradition. You can visit glass-blowing studios, browse handmade creations, and tour the Glass Museum for around 10 euros. It's a great spot to pick up a thoughtful souvenir and learn about the craftsmanship that made Murano world-famous. Even more photogenic is Burano, famous for its rainbow-colored houses and intricate lace-making. It's less crowded than Venice, but just as walkable, with canals, cute shops, and local trattorias. For both islands, try to arrive before 10:30 a.m. to beat the day trippers, and consider staying through sunset for a more peaceful visit. You can reach both islands via Vaporetto Line 12 from the Fondamente Nove stop, part of the standard ACTV ticket system. Practical tips: getting in, around, and comfortable. Getting to Venice is part of the adventure. You can arrive by train at Santa Lucia Station, which puts you right on the Grand Canal, or by car to Piazza Roma, where parking is available. From there, you'll need to travel on foot or by boat. Venice is completely car-free. If you fly into Marco Polo Airport, you can reach the city by bus, water taxi, or Ali Laguna water shuttle. Prices range from 8 to 30 euros, depending on method and destination. For those staying overnight, many hotels include the visitor entry fee in your booking. However, if you are doing a daytime-only visit between the months of April through September, you will need to pay a 5 to 10 euro entry fee online ahead of time. This is part of Venice's effort to manage over-tourism. If you're staying more than a night and carrying heavy luggage, consider splurging on a water taxi from the station or airport to your hotel. Prices vary between 60 to 200 euros. But the convenience of skipping multiple bridges and staircases is often worth it. Where to next? If you have extra time in your itinerary, Venice makes a great jumping-off point for exploring northern Italy and beyond. You can head northwest to Milan, Lake Garda, and the Swiss Alps, or go southeast toward Croatia, where the Dalmatian coast and cities like Dubrovnik await. You might even consider a quick detour into Slovenia, especially if you're renting a car. Just note that train routes east of Venice are limited, so a rental car or guided tour can make travel much smoother. Venice isn't just a place to visit, it's a place to feel. It asks you to slow down, get lost, try something new, and let the city guide you rather than the other way around. Whether you're watching the sunrise from St. Mark's Square, sipping wine by a quiet canal, or catching your breath atop the Campanile, Venice leaves a mark. If you're planning a visit, give yourself time to wander, to sit, to listen, and let this floating city show you why it's captured hearts for centuries. Thanks for joining us on this journey. If this guide helped you feel more excited or prepared for your trip to Venice, leave a comment below or let us know where we should travel to next. Subscribe to Sojourn Travels for more travel destinations. I will be doing a video on Croatia in the future.